It's Monday, December 28th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, back from a brief Christmas break, bringing you today's latest news. Rob Adams will join us for sports and weather, and of course, Donald Eng will take a look back on this day in history. But first, taking a look at some of the stories we're following today. 4 people were hospitalized after a serious 2-vehicle crash Sunday night on Kings Highway cutoff in Fairfield. Emergency crews were dispatched to the accident scene shortly after 6 in the evening Sunday when one driver was trapped in one of the vehicles and 3 occupants of the other vehicle suffered injuries requiring immediate medical attention, according to a report by Assistant Fire Chief Schuler Sherwood. The trapped driver, the lone occupant of one vehicle, was extricated from the wreck by an operation carried out by 14 emergency responders using hydraulic rescue tools. In addition to fire and police personnel, 3 ambulances were called to the scene to transport the 4 people injured in the crash to area hospitals. The condition of the 4 people hospitalized was not immediately available early this morning. Fire crews at the scene included Engine 1, Ladder 1, Engine 2, Ladder 2, and Car 3, with assistance from the Southport Fire Department. The accident remains under investigation by Fairfield Police. And New Canaan police are looking for the public's help in finding the person responsible for hitting a pedestrian early Sunday morning. On Sunday, December 27th, at about 2:19 in the morning, officers responded to New Norwalk Road and Locust Avenue for a report of a vehicle versus pedestrian accident. According to a police report, the pedestrian was attempting to cross New Norwalk Road when a vehicle traveling north on New Norwalk Road struck him. There are no designated crosswalks at that intersection. The operator of the vehicle did not stop and, according to witnesses, continued traveling north on New Norwalk Road. The pedestrian suffered injuries to his head and was transported to Norwalk Hospital by New Canaan Volunteer Ambulance Corps. The injuries did not appear to be life-threatening, police said. The evading vehicle was described by witnesses as a red SUV, possibly a Jeep, with a spare tire on the back of the vehicle. The rear license plate on the vehicle was possibly a New York registration plate. The pedestrian was a 24-year-old man who lives in Florida. Anyone with information on the accident should contact the New Canaan Police Department at 203-594-3500. And over the holiday weekend, there were 351 accidents, 19 DUI arrests, and 4 fatalities on Connecticut roadways, according to the Connecticut State Police's statistics for December 23rd through the 26th. Of the 351 investigated accidents, 42 were with injury and 4 were fatal. The fatalities occurred in Old Saybrook, Bethany, Bolton, and East Hartford. State Police also issued 313 speeding tickets, 9 seatbelt violations, and 729 hazardous moving violations, which includes unsafe lane changes, following too closely, cell phone use, and failure to signal. Connecticut State Police will continue operating roving patrols and conducting DUI checkpoints through January 3rd. A New Haven man was arrested in Trumbull for reckless driving, disobeying the traffic signal of a police officer, and illegally racing on a state highway on the southbound lane of Route 25 at around 1:30 in the morning on December 20th. Police said that 25-year-old Morris Hill was arrested after an officer drove behind a group of 15 to 20 vehicles that were set to race on Route 25. According to a report, the majority of cars drove away from the scene, but Hill's vehicle's engine died and he was pulled over. He told police he wasn't participating in the race and that he was only there to watch it. Police said they received an increased number of complaints about cars racing on the highway and noted that it's always been a problem with drivers at night. The report added that the officer on the scene was driving northbound and observed the cars lining up, getting ready to race. Hill was processed and released with a scheduled court appearance today. And Darien police are investigating some midnight vandalism that occurred December 17th. A resident of Raymond Street called police around midnight 2 weeks ago to report a possible car accident after hearing a crash outside. However, after looking outside, the resident saw 3 shadowy figures moving on foot. Police responding to the area discovered that the street signs and posts for Red Rose Circle and Musket Lane had been removed, and a neighborhood watch sign had been left on the ground. Additionally, boulders from a nearby Raymond Street residence had been moved from their property and left in the roadway. A number of mailboxes were found with the doors open as well, but no additional damage was reported. A few hours later, police located 19-year-old Darien man near Nearwater Lane, who said that he had been walking with two friends. He was headed in the direction of Old Kings Highway South when he was stopped. While speaking with the young man, they encountered his two friends, an 18-year-old from Darien and a 19-year-old from Stamford, who claimed they were visiting friends on Red Rose Circle. The group did not admit to any of the vandalism and was not detained due to lack of probable cause. Police were able to move the boulders out of the way of traffic and notify the Department of Public Works about the missing signs. And in some lighter news, in Milford, with the warm Christmas Day weather, a few brave souls decided to plunge into the sub-50-degree water at Walnut Beach. According to the Milford Mirror, Rory Woods, Elena Ball, Liam Woods, Jenna Ball, and Kaylin Ball took a swim in the Long Island Sound on Christmas Day. The National Weather Service says we set a record for the warmest Christmas day on record on Friday. Bridgeport and Danbury both hit 64 degrees, easily breaking the previous record of 59 degrees set in 1964. And on that note, we're going to throw it over to Rob Adams for a look at the upcoming weather, which is getting a little bit colder now, Rob.
That is the work of a professional broadcaster right there. That is called a segue in the trade. Kate Czaplinski, thank you. Very well done. And once again, happy holidays to one and all as we work through the balance of 2015. Good morning to you. And okay, so with what Kate said, I now am the bearer of bad news, although to some this is good news. A winter weather advisory is in effect for the area beginning tonight at 8 until tomorrow morning at 11. Now, what does that mean? We have a partly sunny day with a high near 39 and wind chill values between 25 and 30. The wind out of the north from 10 to 14. But tonight, it gets fun. A chance of snow and sleet between 9 p.m. and midnight, then freezing rain and sleet after that with a low of 29, wind chill values between 20 and 25, and an east wind from 9 to 15 miles per hour. Gusts will be as high as 28, and the chance of precipitation 100% with little or no ice accumulation expected. New snow and sleet accumulation from the National Weather Service, they say of less than a half inch is possible. To Tuesday, rain and sleet becoming all rain after 8 in the morning with a high near 42 and wind chill values between 20 and 30. The east wind will be 7 to 17 miles per hour, becoming north in the afternoon with winds gusting as high as 30. So again, you know, higher wind gusts combined with the chance for ice and sleet, power lines and so on, just things to keep in mind. And again, the precipitation 100%. New sleet accumulation of less than a half inch possible. All right, all that's out of the way. Tuesday night, cloudy, gradually becoming partly cloudy, a steady temperature around 40, and the wind not a problem, northwest 3 to 6. Wednesday, chance of rain mainly after 3, partly sunny, high near 48. Wednesday night will drop down to 39 with a chance of rain. Chance of rain for Thursday, high 49, mostly cloudy, and 33 for Thursday night. We'll start 2016 with a partly sunny day and a high near 43. All that said, Greenwich has 38, Ridgefield has 35. Shelton has 39. Again, that's a winter weather advisory in effect for the area beginning tonight at 8. Kate, back over to you.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, we're going to take a quick break. Come back. Donald Ang is going to take a look back on this day in history. Rob will give us the latest in local sports, and we have a lot more news coming up after this.
Had a sports injury that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist quickly. Their highly trained orthopedic professionals expertly treat you without an appointment. Skiing, snowboard, or sports accident, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk. Call 203-845-2070 or coastalorthoexpress.com. Find them on Facebook at Coastal Ortho CT.
Discover the Wilburton Inn in Manchester, Vermont, a 30-acre historic estate featuring a turn-of-the-century mansion with elegant inn guest rooms and 7 large private vacation homes, perfect for ski vacations and holiday celebrations. Special offer on select rooms and houses. Stay 2 nights, get the 3rd night free through Christmas Day. CNN has called the Wilburton one of the top 8 mansion hotels in America. Call 802-362-2500 or visit wilburtoninn.com for more information.
Darien Sport Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sport Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your local destination for the best of the holidays. Shop Stewart's for the freshest produce, certified prime rib roasts, magnolia wreaths, fresh baked pies, gingerbread houses, Christmas candies, and the season's best wine and craft brews right next door at Stewart's Spirits. Shop Walter Stewart's, 229 Elm Street in New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
Hi, I'm Rob Adams with my good friend Donald Eng, and we're the home team for Nutmeg Sports, Monday through Wednesday at 2 o'clock right here on the HAN Network. We are the place for all things Connecticut sports, so come hang out with us on Nutmeg Sports. Don? They don't call him the best color man in the game for nothing. Nutmeg Sports, 2 o'clock, Monday through Wednesday, right here on the HAN Network.
And we're back on this Monday, December 28th edition of your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski. Time to throw it over to Donald Eng to take a look back on this day in history. Don?
Well, Kate, on this day in 1958, we had the first occurrence ever of something that had the country abuzz yesterday. But first, we're going to go back to 1612. Galileo, the first person ever to observe the planet Neptune. The discovery was not actually confirmed until just a few years ago, like 2005. When astronomers noted that Galileo's notebooks isolated what he called a fixed star that appeared to be affecting Uranus's orbit. To 1912 we go. The first municipally owned streetcars take to the streets of San Francisco. That's it right there, actually. Streetcar number 1, route number 1, its first run of the day. 1912, that is San Francisco. To 1948, the DC-3 airliner NC 16002 takes off from San Juan, Puerto Rico, bound for Miami. The weather is clear and perfect for flying in the plane, and the 31 people on board are never seen again. Its last reported position was less than 50 miles from Miami, where the pilot should have been able to see the city. No distress call was ever received. It was the 4th recorded instance of a plane disappearing in less than 3 years in what we now call the Bermuda Triangle. And finally, we go to 1958 for this.
Johnny Unitas, the quarterback who couldn't get a job a few years ago, moving the ball to the Giants' 1. There he hands off to Amici. The horse rams across and the Colts win 20-17. One of the most exciting games ever.
That is the greatest game ever played. The Baltimore Colts defeat the New York Giants in the first ever NFL sudden death overtime game at New York's Yankee Stadium. That was the 1958 championship game, actually. 17 Hall of Famers involved in the game as a player or coach or administrator that had a television audience of 45 million, this being 1958, a television audience of 45 million, which would have been far higher, except the game was blacked out in the New York City area. The Giants lost the game in sudden death overtime, though they have the consolation of knowing that winning the overtime coin toss and then electing to receive, at least they didn't lose the game on a monumentally bad decision. That is a look back in history, and I am Donald Eng.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, getting back to a little more news today and some interesting business news for the state. Governor Daniel Malloy has announced that Deutsche Family Wines and Spirits, an importer and marketer of wine and spirit brands from around the world, plans to relocate its headquarters from White Plains, New York to Stamford. The relocation is expected to deliver more than 100 new or relocated jobs into Connecticut, according to a statement issued by the governor's office, Deutsch Family introduced Yellowtail brand wine to this country, and it continues to be the nation's largest imported wine brand. As a company, Deutsch Family is experiencing impressive and sustained growth and is the fastest growing wine and spirits company in the country in the $10 to $25 price range. Their portfolio includes America's hottest wine brand, Josh Cellars, which was recently named 2015 Market Watch Wine Brand of the Year and has skyrocketed from 30,000 cases 4 years ago to an expected 1 million cases of depletions by the end of the fiscal year in March 2016. Exceeding its capacity in the 25,000 square feet in its leased White Plains, New York space, Deutsch Family Wine and Spirits searched for alternate facilities in the Westchester and Stamford markets that could meet its operational requirements, and the company has found that new space at 201 Tresser Boulevard, which is a 43,000 square feet space in Stamford. All right, going to throw it over to Rob Adams for the latest in local sports. Rob?
All right, Kate, thank you very much. Don Eng leading us in with that greatest game ever played. It was the first thing I ever asked the late Frank Gifford about. By the way, that was not something you wanted to ask Frank Gifford about. All that being said, we can spend time on that some other time, maybe on Nutmeg Sports. Let's dive into what we saw really over the weekend, of course, with Christmas being on Thursday, or rather on Friday and Christmas Eve Thursday. Pretty much we were quiet until Saturday. Fairfield Prep won the Holiday Classic at Alumni Hall in boys basketball with a 52-48 triumph over Fairfield Ludlow. Rich Kelly had 21 to pace the Jesuits, while Tom Duffy led the Falcons with 18. In the consolation game, Notre Dame of Fairfield defeated Fairfield Ward 61-50. On Saturday, Prep beat Ward 73-56, while Ludlow took care of Notre Dame of Fairfield 55-39. Norwalk dropped to 0-2 on Saturday with a 66-60 loss to Massac, that in their holiday tournament. Ridgefield fell to 0-3 with a 59-51 loss to Bunnell, again in that Massac holiday tournament. Chris Longo had 17 in the loss. Over to girls basketball, Joel Barlow knocked off Caner Tech 46-38 in the Hearts Holiday Classic at Sacred Heart. Emma Gallagher had 31 in the win. Shelton improved to 3-1 on the year with a 51-16 pasting of Bunnell. The Bridgeport Sound Tigers grabbed a 4-3 win over the Providence Bruins at Webster Bank Arena on Sunday. The Tigers had been winless in their previous 5. And Fairfield University's men's basketball team had 17 three-pointers. That ties a school record. 17 from way downtown Bang as they upend Bucknell 101-91. On to the schedule we go. Boys basketball at Staples and Wilton at 4. Berlin is home for New Canaan at 5. Stanford and Joel Barlow meet at McMahon. That is at 6. Bassick and West Hill meet at 7 o'clock at West Hill, and McMahon hosting Weston. That's an 8 o'clock tip at Brian McMahon High School. Brookfield and Norwalk get things going at noon today in girls hoops, while Darien and Norwalk meet at 1 o'clock. Staples is at Manchester, McMahon at Ludlow, most of these early games. Scarsdale, New York comes to Wilton and meets the Warriors. Fairfield Ward is at Ram. Greenwich is at the Centaur Holiday Classic at the Woodstock Academy. That's later this afternoon. Stanford home for West Hill, and in all Stanford matchup, I should say. Trumbull and Bethel at 5:15 at Bethel High School. Danbury home for New Milford. Ridgefield is at Avon at 8 o'clock tonight. Boys ice hockey, he says, burying the lead. Mount Everett of Massachusetts is at Brookfield Bethel Danbury at 12:30. Daniel Hand at Staples West and Shelton. That's a 4:15 start. West Haven home for St. Joe's. Wait, you say St. Joe and West Haven, Rob? Yes, I do. That is right here on the HAN network. They are saying that is a 6 o'clock start. I got to double check that time for you to make sure, because we had it as 5 as a broadcast time. So I'm going to double check that time, and Kate and I will check back with you on that. So a little programming note for you there. Wilton and New Fairfield Immaculate play at 7:10 tonight. Girls ice hockey has Trumbull and West Haven at 4, and Ward at Ludlow, Massachusetts. In wrestling, that started a little bit earlier. West Hill and Norwalk as well started earlier, and the Ryan Saba Holiday Tournament at Danbury. Finally, we note 2 passings from over the weekend. Dave Henderson gave the Red Sox the jolt they needed to advance to the 1986 World Series with his home run in Game 5 off Donnie Moore in the ALCS. Henderson, Hendu, died Sunday of a heart attack in Seattle at the age of 57. Great shot there, by the way, as Doug DeCince, the Angels' third baseman, crouching because the Angels right on the verge of going to the World Series. Great shot. And we note the passing of Meadowlark Lemon, arguably the most famous of all Harlem Globetrotters. Lemon, known as the Clown Prince of basketball, joined the Globetrotters in 1954 and left in 1978. He helped make them a staple of ABC's Wide World of Sports. If you were a kid on Saturday, you know the drill, as well as in cartoons. Yes, cartoons with the Globetrotters. Lemon died in Scottsdale, Arizona on Sunday. He was 83, and we'll also have Athlete of the Week to talk about later today on Nutmeg Sports right here on the HAN network. So I'll double check that start time, Kate. I just noticed that for our hockey game later today. I'll double check that, get back to you, and we'll continue on. So with sports, I'm Rob Adams. Kate, back over to you.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Rob. We're getting back to some of today's news. Elsewhere in the state, more than 1,000 gallons of milk spilled after a farm in Torrington fell victim to Christmas Eve vandals. According to WFSB, the Weingold family said the crime was simple and quick, but devastating. They said whoever did it walked in, turned the cap to the storage tanks, and flipped the level to let the milk out. The family said they woke up on December 24th to find something they haven't seen in 6 generations of farming, and that was milk spilled all over the floor of their milk storage room. They said the vandals struck overnight and every drop produced by the family's 71 cows was lost. They estimated more than 1,000 gallons went down the drain. With hundreds of dollars in profits lost, the Weingold said they tried to salvage the holiday. The family said their road is isolated, so it seemed as if they were targeted, and anyone with information on that crime is urged to contact the Torrington Police Department. And in Reading, for the second time in 2 years, resident Paul Averginos has been nominated for Best New Age Album at the Grammy Awards, which will be broadcast on February 15th from the Staples Center in Los Angeles. The New Age composer and musician is a resident of Sanford Town Road, where he also operates a recording studio called Studio Unicorn. Though the artist is soft-spoken and deliberate, he admits he wasn't always so laid back. He said he had a tendency to be high-strung, which is what led him to New Age music in the first place. Many music fans might recognize the sounds of New Age music from blockbuster artists like Enya and Tangerine Dream, or from the popular public radio show Echoes. You can get more information on that Reading resident at thereadingpilot.com. And in Trumbull, dog owners will be glad to hear that there's a place that keeps their pets shaded from the hot summer sun as well as protected from the drizzle of a spring rain. Thanks to members of the Trumbull Dog Owners Group, Trumbull Home Depot, and the Trumbull Rotary, a pavilion has been built at the dog park that's aimed at protecting animals and their owners from the harshness of Mother Nature. The Trumbull Dog Park, which is located below the soccer fields at Indian Ledge Park in Trumbull, is preserved and maintained by the Trumbull Dog Owners Group volunteers. Recently, the group has developed a positive relationship with the town's Parks and Recreation Department, which has helped remove trees of potential hazard outside the park gates. That's not the only help dog owners have been receiving, but to get more information on that story, you can visit TrumbullTimes.com. We're going to step out for a quick break. When we come back, going to recap some of the top stories today, and we'll take another look at the weather coming up after this.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances, where community comes first, a place where there's more than one kind of interest, where automation will never replace consideration, where they not only know your name, they know your dog's name too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
In Pound Ridge since 1993, the Wine Connection is one of America's best wine shops. Visit our beautiful store for the greatest in wine and knowledgeable service. With wonderful values from around the world to collectibles for your cellar, we are your one-stop source. Visit our online shop at wineconn.com and make sure to sign up for email updates. With great offers, new arrivals, and special events, don't miss all the action at the Wine Connection, including tastings every weekend. The Wine Connection, located at 32 Westchester Avenue, Pound Ridge, New York.
Find over 1,000 special stories at Hospital for Special Surgery. Go to hss.edu/backinthegame.
I was jogging 5 months after my cartilage tear.
Skiing a year after hip surgery.
And playing grandma 4 weeks after hip replacement.
One special hospital, 1,000 special stories. See Connecticut patients at hss.edu/CT.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
And we're back on this Monday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today, including that 4 people were hospitalized after a serious 2-vehicle crash Sunday night on Kings Highway cutoff in Fairfield. Emergency crews were dispatched to the accident scene shortly after 6 in the evening Sunday when one driver was trapped in one of the vehicles and 3 occupants of the other vehicle suffered injuries requiring immediate medical attention. The trapped driver, the lone occupant of one vehicle, was extricated from the wreck by an operation carried out by 14 emergency responders using hydraulic rescue tools. In addition to fire and police personnel, 3 ambulances were called to the scene to transport the 4 people injured in the crash to area hospitals. The condition of the 4 people hospitalized was not immediately available on Monday. The accident remains under investigation by police. And New Canaan police are looking for the public's help in finding a person responsible for hitting a pedestrian early Sunday morning. On Sunday, December 27th at about 2:20 in the morning, officers responded to New Norwalk Road and Locust Avenue for a report of a vehicle versus pedestrian. According to police, the pedestrian was attempting to cross New Norwalk Road when a vehicle traveling north on that road struck him. There are no designated crosswalks at that intersection, according to the New Canaan Advertiser. The operator of the vehicle did not stop and, according to witnesses, continued traveling north on New Norwalk Road. The pedestrian suffered injuries to his head and was transported to Norwalk Hospital by the New Canaan Volunteer Ambulance Corps. The injuries do not appear to be life-threatening, police said. The evading vehicle was described by witnesses as a red SUV, possibly a Jeep, with a spare tire on the back of the vehicle. The rear license plate had possibly a New York registration. The pedestrian hit is a 24-year-old man who lives in Florida. Anyone with information on the accident should contact New Canaan Police at 203-594-3500. The accident remains under investigation. And according to state police, there were 351 accidents, 19 DUIs, and 4 fatalities on Connecticut roadways this holiday weekend, according to their statistics for December 23rd through the 26th. Of the 351 investigated accidents, 42 were with injuries and 4 were fatal. The fatalities occurred in Old Saybrook, Bethany, Bolton, and East Hartford. State police also issued 313 speeding tickets, 9 seatbelt violations, and 729 hazardous moving violations, which includes unsafe lane changes, following too closely, cell phone use, and failure to signal. Connecticut State Police will continue operating roving patrols and conducting DUI checkpoints through January 3rd. And in Trumbull, a New Haven man was arrested for reckless driving, disobeying the signal of a police officer, and illegally racing on a state highway in the southbound lane of Route 25 at about 1:30 in the morning on December 20th. Police said that 25-year-old Morris Hill was arrested after an officer drove behind a group of 15 to 20 vehicles that were set to race on Route 25. According to a report, the majority of cars drove away from the scene, but Hill's vehicle's engine died and he was pulled over. He told police he wasn't participating in the race, but was only there to watch it. Police said they received an increased number of complaints about cars racing on the highway and noted that it's always been a problem. The report added that the officer on the scene was driving northbound and observed the cars lining up getting ready to race. Hill was processed and released on a scheduled court appearance set for today. Well, we're going to throw it back over to Rob Adams. Rob, I know we have an update on our sports schedule today of our game.
We do, Kate. That game between St. Joseph and West Haven at the Edward L. Bennett Rink is a 6 o'clock face-off now. One version of our schedule had it as 5 o'clock, so 6 o'clock at the Edward L. Bennett Rink. So come on out to the game and, of course, watch it at live.han.network. We will have the broadcast for you on the air right around 5:55 this afternoon, puck dropping at 6. And while I've got you, again, just a reminder of this winter weather advisory being in effect for the area beginning tonight at 8 until tomorrow morning at 11, right around the time we're off and running for coffee break. Now, normally I give you the Shelton area forecast, figuring that's where we're based. I'm going to switch it up and give you the Ridgefield forecast, which still applies to the region, but I just want you to hear the very subtle differences in terms of, accumulations and things like that. It's partly sunny day still for today with a high near 38 and the wind chill between 25 and 30, north wind 8 to 10 miles per hour. The chance of snow, freezing rain and sleet between 9 and midnight tonight, then freezing rain and sleet after, and a steady temperature around 31 with wind chill values between 20 and 25, wind out of the east from 8 to 14, gusts as high as 25. With the chance of precipitation being 100%. Now here in the Shelton area, we're not expecting any real accumulation of ice, but certainly be cognizant of it. In the Ridgefield forecast, new ice accumulation of less than just 0.1, so a tenth of an inch possible. And again, new snow and sleet accumulation of less than a half inch possible by the time that's all said and done tonight. To tomorrow, freezing rain and sleet before 8 in the morning, then rain, high 43 with wind chills from 20 to 30 and the wind out of the east from 6 to 14, gusting as high as 26. Little or no ice accumulation expected, but new sleet accumulation of less than a half inch possible. What I'm trying to say is the Ridgefield forecast a little higher as you might expect in terms of accumulations, and let's face it, when you're talking ice and you're talking sleet, you just want to be cognizant and just be cautious of it. That's really what I'm trying to get at. Tuesday night, mostly cloudy, steady temperature 40. We have a chance of rain mainly after 3 on Wednesday, increasing clouds, high 47. Rain likely and 41 for the low on Wednesday night. Chance of rain 47 for the high for Thursday. We start 2016, partly sunny, high 40. Around the area, it is 38 in Greenwich, Ridgefield at 35. Shelton stays steady at 39, Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, that's going to do it for this Monday edition of Coffee Break. As Rob said, Nutmeg Sports coming up at 2, boys ice hockey in West Haven live at 6, and we'll be back tomorrow at 11. Have a great day, everyone.